about them?
Yeah, playing really well. Returning Omaha team again. I think, obviously winning 2 of 3 at South Carolina and putting themselves in position to sweep with a one-run game on Sunday obviously tells you their potential. Swinging the bat about as good as anybody. Really good lineup, really good top of the order. So we're going to have to pitch and defend well. Um, Dale has thrown really good on Fridays. They have guys that certainly have really good stuff out of the bullpen. And, I think it's another really good opponent. And I think, once we get through all 10 of these weekends, to me, they're all the same. Meaning you have to play really well to win one game, let alone win a series, and that's what we'll have to do this weekend.
Do you feel like it was important to get out last night and play a clean game, a good game, quick game, in all phases?
I liked the 7-inning game. We got home before 11. I think that was good. It was the next one, so it was important. I think getting out of it where the position players, we play obviously our best guys every game that are available to play. It was nice to have all of them available to play last night. I thought we played well. I thought we managed the zone and hit mistakes and 0 in the air column, and 6 guys, contributed to a shutout. And then happy to get out of there with a win for sure.
I'm sure you talked about it yesterday, but Gavin, drawing that start.
Mm-hmm.
Just what did you see?
I thought he was great. We actually didn't make the decision until yesterday morning. I took all of Monday to just kind of think through how we wanted to do Tuesday. Coming off of the weekend, there had to be a lot of critical thought in that. It was going to be one of 3 guys, and then Wes and I talked in the morning yesterday, and we're both pretty excited about, hey, let's go for this, and then I called him and just said you're starting, and immediately it was like, oh, am I just going, or what's the pitch count? And I was like, I feel good about 45. That'd be about as far as I'd go. And then we just felt like, I think he threw 31, and I felt like at that time it was a good, hey, we can have him pretty much available whenever we want now if we took him out right there. And so that was the decision, to take him out right there.
He hasn't extended a ton. Do you, in the weekend series, do you expect that to change in terms of getting him?
It depends. I don't know if all bets are off, or the right way to say it, but I feel like I have a pretty good idea of where players can be successful, or the most successful, and they have to be ready in those spots. We kind of communicate them to that. I think we've been very mindful about how we've used him, because he didn't throw in the fall, and building him up correctly and the right amount of rest. And is it once or twice a week, or once a weekend or twice a weekend? And we haven't used him twice in a weekend or a week yet, I don't think. Maybe twice in 1 week between a Tuesday and a Sunday. But I think he's versatile and can do a lot of different things, and we'll need him to do that. And last night is the best I think he's thrown the ball in a couple weeks. So I think maybe we got through that conditioning barrier a little bit, which is a good thing.
Auburn is a really veteran team. They
Yes.
are super aggressive, strike out a lot. For your pitching staff, do they kind of get excited for a game like this series?
Well, I hope they're excited for every game, honestly. And they're as prepared as anybody can be with what we put in front of them. It becomes about execution. When we execute well, we get outs. When we don't, in this league, you're going to get hit. And if you throw balls and give up free bases and then get hit, you're going to give up runs. And we've had a little of all of that, as has everybody in the conference. We don't really put the opponent in front of them of hey, we're playing so-and-so, want to make it about us and how we execute. And I think that's the best formula for them to be successful. But hey, again, it's a returning Omaha team, clear-cut NCAA tournament team at this point in my eyes. So it's going to be a great challenge, and one we're looking forward to.
So have you thought in extending any other pitchers on the staff, just to kind of as we approach like postseason?
Yeah, I mean, like, it depends on what extent to get somebody to 6 innings, 7 innings. I mean, they got to be able to do it. It's not just a conditioning thing. That's the first realm of it. It's like, can they get through the order twice? And how can they get through the order twice or 3 times? And that's hard. I mean, again, I can't speak for the rest of the country because we're so immersed in this. Like, I don't know that any of Alabama's pitchers made it through the 5th inning this weekend. And that's a really good pitching staff, and they have some really good relievers, so I don't even know that it matters that much. It certainly helps when they do. It means you're usually in a good position in the game. But, yeah, I think one thing we pay attention to is what can a guy do, and asking him to do more than that, that's when you get yourself in problems. And so maybe is the long-winded answer.
We're going to talk to Hayden a little bit. Could you talk about his patience and his progress?
He's been phenomenal. I mean, again, he's been beat up the last 2 years. I mean, he frankly got beat out because he couldn't play in the fall and wasn't healthy really as he was trying to get some reps going into the season. And the other 2 guys are really good players and present different skills. To his credit, he has maintained being a great team guy, handled it as well as you possibly can, and was improving. Literally, I watch every swing of batting practice, and it's like, man, that looks pretty good to me right now. Like, that's not off balance or long or super pitchable. It's balanced. It's tight. It will translate into the game. And then we had a conversation a few weeks back, I would probably say maybe right after South Carolina, and I just said, hey, I can see you're improving. I think you're going to start to get a few opportunities now. And a few of them were pinch hits. I know he had a pinch hit double the first game against Nichols, had some good walks and moved the offense, and then felt good about starting him against Ole Miss in game 2. Had a really good game there, both behind the plate, key RBI late, and then obviously the big homer. And then last week against Nichols, he started. I don't think he got any hits, but he took a bunch of really good at-bats and threw a guy out. So I think he typifies our team. Like, he didn't make it about himself. He made it about the team and kept working and improving, and now he's in position to really help the team. And he's going to continue to play and help the team.
In what areas do you feel he's improved the most?
I think his swing's gotten better. I think over 2 years, his at-bats have gotten better, like the plate discipline thing. He's not chasing outside the strike zone. His 2-strike approach has been really good. I think he's caught well. The few games he's caught recently, throwing the ball, well. He threw a couple guys out last night. And it can really help us win right now, and that's why he's getting to play.
What about his demeanor, I guess, has kind of helped that pinch hitting role, patience and probability?
Yeah, he's made it about the team, so he hasn't gotten distracted by negative thoughts of I should be doing more. Kind of owned that. At the same time, believed in himself. It's not like he was thinking, hey, I'm not good because I'm not playing. Still had strong belief in himself, so he kept working. And, I think he's ready to really contribute and has. And I'm very proud of him for that. And that's the things on this team that should be talked about. You know what I mean? Is how a guy that's in his 4th year that has talent. I view him as a starter now, and I always believed he could. He started last year during SEC play while we were winning, and just stayed with it and was ready when they got their opportunity. And a lot of maturity.
Preseason, when you were visualizing things, several weekends left until postseason. Is it about what you thought? What is going on? What you visualized, and what's been not?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I asked the players not to get too far ahead of themselves, so I try not to do that as well. I think with this team, having so many guys that can make a positive contribution, it allows you the freedom to, I don't want to say try things, but think ahead a little bit and ensuring we're ultra prepared for what's to come. And so this year it's always been about staying in the moment, task at hand, and then having this bigger picture understanding of, okay, this is what we're going to need down the road. Okay, if you get behind in an NCAA tournament game, you can't freak out, abandon your plan. You have to keep playing the game. Well, these guys do that better than anybody else. Okay, a couple guys are down, so some guys have to maybe go in a little bit different direction. Like, I just feel like we'll be ultra prepared, and that's all you can ask for. And then it just becomes about the play, and I trust our team, in any situation. So I kind of look at it more that way. But I will say it's been good to, be able to put things in front of them of what we're going to need to do, and have them not lose the focus on right now. And that's just another credit to them being dialed in.
Jay, I know you were asked earlier about extending pitchers, and I kind of wanted to go the other side of that. When you have some questions just in terms of maybe third starters or just back end or who you kind of wanted there, how much does an offense like yours kind of erase maybe some of those issues or concerns that you have? Does having an offense like the one that you have right now kind of mask maybe some of those issues you may have at times?
It helps. I think it takes pressure off a little bit, where you can keep it about development of the pitchers and players, and okay, what's the task they need to do to execute better, knowing that you don't have to be perfect. And that's a challenge for young players all the time. They want to perform. Like those pitchers, they want to go out and they want to put up zeros, you know what I mean, and keep the other team off the scoreboard. I think it can be a little bit freeing, though, when you're not perfect and you make a mistake, that somebody picks you up. And then it kind of brings you back to this, like, you can trust, like, hey, all I can do is all I can do, and that's enough. And I don't have to do it all myself. And so you can bring it back to execution instead of just the totality of the performance. And, I've had it the other way at times, too, where, I'm ticked off the offense, like we don't score, 2 times through the order, and but our guys are going out there and we're still within range at 2-0, and then we eventually break through. So I think these guys just understand complementary baseball and making it about the team, and it's a really good observation, because that certainly helps.
Jared Jones, I feel like we haven't talked about him enough. Really owning that first base position now at this point in the season. How have you seen him grow and develop? I feel like he came in as a catcher, I think, was his position.
Yeah, he's done a great job. I think as a former infielder, I would have loved throwing to a target that big. I think that's underrated, honestly. Like he's done a really good job of picking balls in the dirt, of maybe one's high or to the right or to the left, and being able to stay on the bag. There was a big one at Ole Miss like that early in the Friday game that we got a big call. We challenged it and we got it overturned for an out because he stretched and stayed on the bag on an average throw. He's exceeded my expectations defensively as far as what I thought he could do, and it's been a necessity, for what we need to do to have the right team playing, and we've had to expand his role over there recently, because of the at bats that he's taking and how some other things have shaken out, and you feel good about it. I mean, we had that drop pop up the other day, but other than that, I think he's been really, really good.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm not sure how much you get to watch just like the other teams in the league and around the country, but it really seems this has been a offensive-oriented season for baseball. Just it really seems to play into y'all's strength as a team. Do you kind of share those sentiments and just kind of how the season's played out around the country?
What I'll share with our team, not really directly, but what I'll share with our team is maybe when we're scouting, I'll see some holes in some other teams and make them mindful of, like, we can't do that. If we want to be different, like, we have to stay on track with our plan and what we're doing. And they've done a great job of that. Now, with that being said, you look through like a lineup like last weekend or the one we're playing this weekend or Ole Miss, and we swept them and they turn around and won 2 out of 3 against Georgia this week. It's just like all these games are the same. Whoever's the best team in our league, playing team 12, 13, or 14, it's really not that much different as far as what you need to do to execute to win. And right now, it's just it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be 12-0 3 games in a row in our league. It's not going to happen. I don't know what the equivalent of that in football or basketball would be, but it's baseball, the way you're all going through this. I'm just super proud of them being ultra consistent and preparing, whatever you want to call it, getting up for games or just being ready for games. These guys are doing that, and they're going to have to continue to do it.
Did you identify anything in Ty's outing that was correctable or an outlier?
From Saturday, on the surface, he walked a few guys, but I thought he threw some of the best fastballs he's thrown all season long. The 4-run inning was tough because it was 2 outs, 2 strikes, nobody on base, and they scored 4. That was a tough pill to swallow. And then, Trey was diving, so it was a hit. But if he holds on to the ball, they don't score any of those runs. So I'd have to look at it. Maybe a little closer. Again, he's still undefeated. I have a ton of faith in him. We're going to win some important games down the stretch that he pitches in. And, and I like where he's at headspace right now.
Kind of to the answer you just said, so it's hard. But I know it's
Exactly. That's a perfect example of that. I just saw something somebody had him pushed up pretty high in the draft, and I was like, good for him. He deserves it. He's throwing strikes. He's healthy. He's competing for his team, and nobody's beaten him yet, and that's what should be valued. And I trust Ty a lot.
You mentioned how good Auburn's top of the
Mm-hmm.
order has been. Are there any guys you're particularly worried about facing?
Yeah, Bobby Pierce is a really old player. I recruited him at Arizona, and I don't even feel like it was for the last year at Arizona. It feels like 5 or 6 years ago, and he's still in college. Strong. I thought he was key kind of in their emergence to being an Omaha team last year. He started playing against us last year and had a good series. Ike Irish is a really, really good freshman. Cole Foster is a really good player. Their shortstop. Those are a few, and I know it goes deeper than that. I don't know where they are statistically, but I would bet they're in the top 3 or 4 in the league in most offensive categories.
What does having a catching coach do for this program, and why is it not common in college baseball?
Well, knowing that we have Josh, it does a lot. He's a super attention to detail oriented guy. He brings me a report, literally within an hour of the game over, of how the catcher performed, how that affected strikes. Him and Wes are constantly in communication about what those guys need to do better. The fact that we've had to play 3, in baseball, it's probably the closest thing to a quarterback. And if you get to your 3rd quarterback, the season's not going very good, it seems like, at most places. And we haven't had any drop-off. I think whether it was Paul Skeens or Ty Floyd or Little or Ackenhausen or Cooper, they'd be comfortable throwing to any of the 3 catchers. And I think Josh deserves a lot of credit for that. He holds them accountable. If he's gone recruiting, he has a very detailed plan for them that day that we'll have somebody monitor and that they'll execute. And they've all done a really good job of helping each other. I've mentioned that with Alex, has done a really good job with Brady and Jared and Ethan, and they've continued to work on it. And then Hayden and Alex are using their experience well. Why other people don't do it, I don't have an answer for that, because it's other than the pitcher, they touch the ball the most, and they have a big say. And the whole game is about strikes and balls, and the catcher affects strikes and balls a lot. So, I will say it's something that I'll never not have here, for the rest of my career.
a little off the wall, but how is the state of baseball in Louisiana? They're about to hit their, tournament, the high school level. You probably,
Yeah.
I don't know how dialed in you are right now on that, but just as a whole, do you feel like it's strong?
I do feel like it's strong. I think there's the ones that are obvious. I would say California, Texas, Florida. It's just the most people, in warm weather states. So that's typically where your most major league players are going to come from, high-level Division I players, and we got really good players from all 3 of those states on our roster right now. But outside of that, I think it's probably in the upper end. Louisiana, Arizona, Nevada. That's Georgia. Georgia, I would put Georgia up there in those other three, actually. But I've been really, really impressed. I've been impressed, and this kind of shows as we go play some of these midweek Tuesday in-state games. I've been very impressed with the athletes on all the teams that we play. Like, there's a lot of speed. There's a lot of quick twitch. Everybody that we play on Tuesday, it seems like they steal a million bases, which is a headache in itself. And it's good. Hayden threw a couple guys out yesterday. The athleticism of the young players from here, that's what's really stood out to me.
Anything else?
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Jared.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Have a good one.